Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and today, for the very first time, I am taking part in the Made by Mommy Craft Challenge. So, Kim over at Made by Mommy sent me this box, and I haven't opened it yet, and I have no idea what's inside. The challenge, basically, is that I have to make something using the contents of this box, at least 5 things from this box, and all I'm allowed to use from home are my markers, tape, clear tape, that is, clear tape, and white glues. That's all I'm allowed to use, so I'm pretty excited. Do you want to know what's in the box? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Ooh, deco mesh. You know how good I am at home decor. Okay, ooh, we've got some Play-Doh. Nice. Some masking tape. I go through this stuff like water, so. Oh, some mulberry paper. That's kind of pretty. Water wings. What the heck am I gonna do with these? It looks like she cleaned out her junk drawer. This is what my junk drawer usually contains. We've got some popsicle stick ends. Oh, swizzle sticks. Swizzle sticks. Woo, there we dropped one swizzle stick. Crayons. Golf balls. Wiffle golf balls. A Sharpie. Zip ties. A fruit by the foot. Yay! You know what? Fruit by the foot are vegan. They're carb. They got the U with a circle and no D, which means I can have these. Oh, yum. I like fruit by the foot. They're a little tangy. They're a little sweet. The kids, I gotta eat this because if I wait until my kids get home, they're gonna get it. They're gonna eat it. Mmm. Oh, look. I got some fangs. I wonder if I can put these in without ruining my lipstick. You can eat her fruit by the foot at the same time. I'm very talented. Alright. There we go. I don't know. I'm not very good at this. So, pipe cleaners! I can't talk with those things. I got lipstick all over them too. I wonder if they glow. Hold the phone. I've got some chipboard rectangle frames. Fancy frames. Woo! More fancy frames. I wonder if we all got the same thing. There's a bunch of other channels that are doing this too. I got a fruit by the foot stuck in my tooth. I apologize. It probably looks really gross. It's like a yellow fruit by the foot. I probably look like I have plaque or tartar or gum disease. I don't. It's fruit by the foot, people. Scallop frames. I like scallops. Not animal, because I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat scallops. I like scalloped items. What is this? Oh, funny glasses. Kim says it's important to wear eye protection. What do you think? Nice look. And the popsicle stick bottom. Maybe I'm supposed to make some popsicles. Maybe, no, that can't be it because I don't have ingredients for popsicles unless I'm supposed to dilute a fruit by the foot in water. That would be kind of gross, I think. But I am going to think about this. I'm going to ponder it, and then I'm going to make something fantastic, I hope. On with the show. Let's make something crafty. Okay, I decided what I wanted to make and the supplies I wanted to use. So what I've got here is the cardboard frames, and I'm going to choose, I really like this chunky frame here. And I also like, I like this one here. I'm just kind of pulling out the ones that I want to use. And what I think I'm going to make, or at least what I'm going to try to make, are a couple of Craft Bear earring display boards. So, I'm going to do a couple different things to these. First thing I want to do also is make a stand for these, and I'm going to use clay for that, and I've got these bright colors. However, if you have kids, you know what happens when they mix all those colors together? They get brown, and that's really what I'm going to go for, is kind of like an orangey brown. So I'm going to start by mixing my red and yellow together, and then I'll add a little bit of blue until it gets to the shade that I want. Orange would be good too, because I'm going to be working with oranges and greens, so you know that would work. I could always use the green if I needed some extra. So I'm going to open this up, which is easier than it sounds, because I think it's kid safe. I mean, it's clay. Kids should be able to get into it. Maybe they can't. I can't. Holy moly. Oh my gosh, I'm going to pause it while I get this open. I got the covers off. That was hard. Okay, so what I'm going to do is mix the clays together so I can make a stand for these. They're basically going to be frames that can hold some jewelry at a craft fair. So I'm just going to smush this up together. And I'm going to flatten out the bottom, and then just press my frame into it. So that's what's going to hold it up on my craft fair table. Okay, so this one I am going to cover with this pretty paper here, and I'm going to use some of this glue that was provided in the kit. I am following the rules. I am using the stuff in the kit. And they said I could use my own markers, so I do have a marker that I'm going to be using too for some of this. Alright, and I'm allowed to use like scissors or a craft knife or whatever, so I am definitely going to do that. I'm just going to cut off some of that paper so it's easier to work with, and I'm going to cover the front of this with glue. Lots of glue. I want to make sure it's not going to go anywhere, and it's got a spready thing on it, so I think I'll just spread that out. So much for dot, not a lot, right? Alright, I'm going to flip this over. Okay, now I need to wrap it around to the back, and I'm going to make a nice big X in the middle. And I'm going to trim, you know what, maybe I'll glue it down and then trim off what is left. I really would prefer to use hot glue, to tell you the truth, but we're not allowed to use anything that requires electricity. So that's out. I really don't like waiting for glue to dry. But I am totally gonna do the challenge the right way. There we go. Ooh, okay. So that's, now I need to either trim around the front or, boy, I don't know if that's gonna stick. I'm gonna need to trim around the front, or I'm gonna need to fold that over, and that's gonna be really difficult on those curves. So you know what? I think I'm gonna put a piece of wax paper on this, and I'm gonna weight it down and let it dry, and we'll start working on the other frame, which I have a really fun technique that I think you're going to enjoy. This next technique is really fun, and all you have to do is tear masking tape, and it looks fantastic. It's going to look like kind of like an old leather trunk, and what you're going to do is you're just going to cover your surface with ripped pieces of masking tape, and this does take a little bit of time, but you basically just want to layer it. And then when we have it all covered, we're going to color over it with a marker, or you can use an ink pad too, whatever you have, and that's going to give it this really cool distressed look. A time-saving tip is to pull off a longer piece of tape and then just kind of rip it off as you go, rather than pulling off just little bits at a time. There. Okay. So that's what it should look like. See all that great texture? Alright, now what we're going to do is take a marker, and I'm using just a brown water-based marker. And this is a Pitt pen, so I know that that when it dries, it is going to be permanent. It's got India ink in it instead of just regular ink, but this is how we're going to get that cool, weathered, antique texture. It's totally fine if some of the edges want to lift up, because then that's just going to give it more of that kind of aged leather look. Just go ahead. I like to color the whole thing so the ink can set in a little bit, and then either use your finger or a rag to wipe off the extra. You can always go over it again if you want it darker. But even just like a regular Crayola marker, whatever you have is going to work. I probably wouldn't use a Sharpie just because it'll dry too quick on the tape too, so you won't be able to get that nice weathered effect. If you have like a distress ink pad or any other brown ink pad, that would also work. In fact, you might not even need to rub it off if you're using an ink pad. So I want to go over that a little bit because that's a little too light. But you can see how that second layer catches more. And you'll totally need to wash your hands after this. Between this and the Play-Doh, you're going to need to be washing your hands. And even if you have any of the brown peeking through, like the cardboard, it doesn't matter because that'll just add to the effect. So honestly, you can be really sloppy with this and it's still going to look fantastic. Alright, take a look at that. I think that looks pretty cool. I think I'd like the inside a little bit darker. Alright, I'm going to wipe my hands off, and we are going to add the mesh that will actually hold our earrings in place for our craft fair display. Or, you know, it could be a lovely little decoration for your bedroom. I'm going to trim that. And I think that I'm going to have better luck taping than gluing because that glue is going to take quite a while to dry, and I think it'll kind of pull itself out of shape. if I do that, so now here comes the challenge. How do I attach the deco mesh on this, on the back of that? So let's see. I'll tape it so the tape hangs over the outside so we don't see it through the frame. I probably should have chosen the square one for this, the square frame. I'll be doing the same thing to the orange one as well. Oh, that tape is not going to go through. Alright, that's alright though. I think I'm still going to put the tape down. And I think I'll still put the tape down, and then I'll have something I can kind of glue to. And then maybe, I think that if I just put glue around here and let it dry, after it's all dry, I can just flip it over and cut around. So I'm going to go stick this down onto a cutting mat that I can set aside, glue it down, and then we'll be back when it's all dry. Okay, we're back to the orange one now. I'm really hoping the glue is dry enough on the front that I can trim this. I'm just pulling off these extra bits because I had only stuck that down so it didn't stick to my book that was weighting it down flat. And I am just going to carefully cut out around my shape. Hopefully I do a pretty good job. I'm not used to using too much wet glue in my work, honestly, so this will be interesting. Pretty much the only time I use like a white glue like this is when I'm doing my kids craft classes at the library. So if my edges are a little raggedy, I'll just go over it with like a nail file or something later. Oh no. Shoot. That's alright, we'll embellish or something. That glue is not dry on the front. My knife is covered with glue right now. Alright, so I'm just going to try to fold over any loose parts to the back. And I think I'm going to have to, well, maybe I could just patch that area with a scrap of paper. It's pretty wrinkly, like style of paper, so I think I probably can. Oh, look at that. I've got a nice edge right there. I could patch that right in. I don't think anyone will be able to tell that I made a mistake, that I tore my paper. Okay, so this still needs to dry a little bit. I can feel that it is, it's still a little soggy, but I'm also going to put the green on the back just like I did on the other one, and we'll be back when that's all glued up and dry. Okay, I'm trimming out the meshy and tape stuff. I am not going to remove the tape because I really think that's adding some structure to that mesh. But I'm just kind of going around and trying to cut around it, which is a little difficult, I will not lie. So I'm just going to go around and remove little bits of the mesh and tape that are hanging over the edge until I have it nice and neat. This is going to take a while. Curves are hard. I should have went with a straight one, the square. Squares are easy, curves are hard. If you're actually going to try this project, let me know in the comments below. I want to know who's really brave. Okay, the glue is dry. I've trimmed all of the excess mesh and tape from around the frames, and here's how I plan to use them. These are just some earrings I just finished up that are just sitting on my table, so I'm going to show you these for an example. Basically, you just set them on the mesh. The wires would hook through. You could also use it for post-back earrings. I would be gentle with it because the mesh is not the most sturdy stuff. It is, you know, meant for like wreaths and other decorations and gift wrapping and stuff, but I think it's just darling and to be a really inexpensive way to make some craft fair displays. And then we can set them in our little clay holder so it can stand up on our table, and I'm just going to hold it that way so you can see it, and I think it's just a fun little display. So what'd you think of what I made with the craft challenge supplies? I think I did pretty good, but there's so much more inspiration. Make sure you check out the playlist. I'll put a link in the video description, and you can see all the other channels that took part in the Made by Mommy Craft Challenge this month. There's sure to be some really creative stuff going on. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, then make sure you subscribe because I have new videos every day, and I would love to continue inspiring you. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.